this is not going to be easy, but hopefully. Welcome everybody to Pyrography for Beginners and Beyond by Flames Pyro Art, the first live session on YouTube. Now I've made a start on the soldier. I'll just show you quickly an image of the soldier that we're doing. We're going to do a range of soldiers. He's on the wall. I like to stick my work on the wall when I've transferred it. So there is our soldier. Okay, let me see if I can turn the camera around so it's in portrait mode for you. As long as I can work, then we're okay. Right, so I've transferred it out into a piece of birch ply, sticking back on the wall because I want to look back into it. And I've got the digital reference, but of course I've not got it to hand as easily. Well, I have got it to hand as easily, but I like to just stick the one up on the wall as well. So we're going to look at the boots of the soldier. Now I'm using the extra small space shader by the Optima range. I've got my heat setting at level 2 on the Optima, which is a medium heat, I would say. We're using a piece of birch ply supplied by oakcrafts.co.uk, and we're going to create a soldier with mass and detail and depth to him. We don't want a piece of art looking flat. So when we're starting with a boot, here is the end of his sole on his toe caps. Okay. At the sides, it goes darker as it drifts off round the side of the foot and back towards the ankle. Same with this side. All you can see is a piece of it as it drifts back up the boot to the ankle and then up the leg. So these are all things that we're already thinking about. Is, you know, this boot is 3-dimensional. Got to make sure I keep you on screen. So we want to create depth to the boot. And where the laces are, we know that's like sort of starting to go up the leg. Somewhere around here, probably. Now I use a method of pyrography called the burn low and slow method. What that means is I would burn on a gentler heat setting that I am totally in control of at all times. This heat never gets away from me, and I gradually build my shading to the required level, giving myself the maximum opportunity possible to capture that perfect moment when you're doing your shading and you nail it spot on. Now if you have your heat setting too high, you can zoom past that optimal moment. Now I said this is the toe cap, so it has to go up in the dome. So I'm using my pen on the side and I'm flicking strokes upward. Now even however well I've sanded this piece, there's still pot marks in it. I think if I would have had to sand it down to a wafer. This is from the seconds range. I could have used the second side for all I know, but I give it a good sanding. It's good enough, more than good enough quality to do the artwork on. You will hear that sound every now and again. It's nothing to worry about, it's an inhaler. Now if any viewers do pop along and leave any comments or questions, I do apologise for my ignorance. It's just I can't see the screen because it's filming on my phone. Now, the mistake a lot of newcomers, I've rubbed out the graphite on the boot already. I was doing a session on TikTok while I couldn't do the live on YouTube at the time. You have to wait 24 hours to apply, and then they grant you permission to go live on the platform. So now we can do some live sessions together. At last, I hear people cry. There's a few people who've wanted to do some live wood burnings together. Now we can. I'm just still searching for the shape of the boot. At this stage, because I'm burning low and slow, I'm not overcommitting myself to anything. You know, if something doesn't look right, I'm still at a point where I can move away from that shading that I was doing and try again, but this shading is going okay, so we don't need to worry about that. But the main thing with pyrography, let me turn the board round a minute so I can sharpen this toe off, is have fun with your pyrography, or wood burning, whatever you want to call it. Wood art, pyro art is what I prefer to call it. So I call it flames pyro art instead of flames pyrography art. Pyro art, we'll call it. I just love creating pyro art, and I go to ridiculous amounts of detail if I can, if a piece grips me enough. And when I say a piece gripping you, a lot of artists will probably understand what I'm saying there. You know, a piece of art you're doing needs to like grip you and get you engrossed and involved in it, and you find an enjoyment in doing it. The first, I'd say, for myself, the first 2 days of a piece are finding my feet. You know, starting to get a feel for the portrait I'm doing. It takes 2 days of tinkering. This is day 1 of the portrait, by the way. So this is tinkering. And we're just tinkering about with something at the bottom of the piece. And we're subliminally, if that's such a word, taking in more detail. As we look back into, say, the reference photo, I know that there's got to be a point to this boot where it's got to be left light. Which will leave the effect that there's like a shadow being cast. So up the sides you will shade darker, pulling your strokes inwards in the direction that you want to show. If you're trying to show a boot curling over that way, it's no good shading in that direction. You have to shade in the direction that you want to show. That's straightforward enough. Certain areas, like here, we're going to see the laces. This is going further up the boot, so it's going to go darker. To set the boot back. Remember, this is just the toe of it. Goes way back there somewhere is the ankle. It's the bottom of the foot, way back somewhere here. Now I am going to use the laces. I'm going to incorporate them into the boots. At the moment I'm not getting the micro skew out, which I will do at some point on these boots. At this stage I'm not going crazy on the amount of detail I'm putting in. This is more about just feeling a piece out. And remember, the graphite transfer lines, we don't, once we've done the graphite transfer, okay, don't go out, don't trace all around the outside of it with your pyrography pen. The graphite transfer lines are just there as a guide to say that here's the border of, say, the leg, this is where his pants end. We don't outline it, we just work up to it, and then we'll rub the graphite transfer lines out as we go. They're just purely there to help us, because some of us aren't blessed with the skills to just blindly wood burn. A soldier, or even draw a soldier. Wait, someone's shouting out. That's one of my dogs. And then we've got the knife of the soldier strapped to the bottom of his leg, just below his knee. So here is where the pants are gonna like sort of come out. So in there is a very dark area. There was a great pencil artist that I watched a lot of his YouTube videos called Tank. You want to check him out, the 5 pencil method, and a lot of it translates over to pyrography. And there's a basic rule of thumb: where there is less light, it must go darker. And that simple rule will help you so much with creating 3-dimensional artwork with more depth, just by following that simple rule: where there is less light, it must go darker. So if you think about the pants, they're all gathering off to a tucked up bit under the boot or inside the boot. Hopefully you still got me on camera there. This is the first live experiment we've done on YouTube. now I know we can go live. I can get set up so I can see people's comments and announce the live sessions to the group I have on Facebook. We have a couple of thousand members, so some should attend. But like I said to one of my friends who helps me administrate the group, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I offer learning for free. I don't ask for any subscriptions, anything like that. And we journey together into this magical world of pyrography. I would say I've not had a pyrography pen out of my hand for over 3 years. Every day I love to, even if it's just for an hour, if I can sneak an hour in, I will wood burn for an hour. Because as my slogan says, every hour of burning is an hour of learning. And when I started this venture, those few years ago, there's a pit mark. When I started this venture a few years ago, I had never done a piece of art in my life. But lockdown 1 came along and I needed something to do. Something to fill those days, keep the devil from making work of idle hands. So I chose pyrography as my full-time unpaid job. And my goal was to try and get as good as some of the pyrography artists I saw on Facebook. That was my job. And through trial and error and a lot of patience, I can wood burn to a decent enough level, and I will be able to help the viewers also get to a decent level with their wood burning. Now there's another thing I need to tell you about, which is called clean edge to value. I'm going to up the heat of the pen to 2.5, or just 2 3/4. A clean edge to value. What that means is every object that you wood burn, doesn't matter what it is, whether it be a flower, a bee, a bird, a person, everything must have a clean edge to it. Because in real life, this boot would have clean lines, clean edges to the value. It wouldn't have like a piece sticking out, it's got to have clean edges. It's all got to read correctly. and turn the heat up a little bit now because I'm finding the shape of the boot. Found what it is. The lace ups are sort of like going up the top of the ankle and up the leg. Like I said, just ignore that noise. I'm just adding bits of lace all over the place at the minute. His lace ups on his boots weren't the greatest of detail, so just use your own imagination on the lace ups. Remember now, this is like the side of the boot, nothing to do with the front. This is a lot further back. So back here has to be darker than this front. So we'll leave a lot of unburnt areas. That little patch there we've left can tell a story. Can be a little highlight in the toe cap. This is the level of detail that I go into with every piece of pyrography that I create. And go into as much detail as I possibly can. And I have people on TikTok say to me they love the amount of detail that I go into on a piece. And to me, it's just a passion. It's a blessing to be able to sit there and do the wood burning. Like I said, I don't charge anybody. In fact, if anything, it costs me money because the Pyrographer of the Month awards, I pay for the postage and shipping of the awards to everybody out of my own pocket. But it makes people feel good, so it's worth every penny. When they get those certificates and rosettes, they hang them on the walls with pride and can say they were award-winning pyrographers. So it's pretty cool. I created this certificate and I'm just waiting on some wood circles that I would burn on, and then I stick it over the top of the rosette and then send them out. Now last month's didn't go out and I apologise to the winners, and they will be going out as members of the group will know. I've been through a bit of a crappy time of my life. And again, wood burning has saved me. I can get lost for hours and hours into a piece of pyrography. It's magical, isn't it? Once you get into what you have to try and do is see past a flat image. You have to almost try and see it in 3 dimensions. That's why it, like I said to you, it takes me 2 or 3 days before I start seeing dimensions and it raising up and it pushing deeper. It's very much like tattoo art. It's wood burning. We're sort of like burning under the top layer of wood. We'll make many passes over the same area to build it up. Say for example, this pant leg, like I said, it's like curling off underneath. So I'll make passes flicking my pen upwards. And obviously the boot's got to be finished. Yeah, the boot's got to go a lot darker and sharper and be finished off properly. But this was more of a test today to see if YouTube would let me wood burn live. Happy to report it will, and we can do some great things together. So there's the start of the boot. Remember, work from your toe cap, leave a little highlight, and then you're on to the top of the foot. This will be where the metatarsals and everything are. And you're working your way back. I'm going to see, I like to work on an angle. I don't know if you're in screen or not. Yeah, there you are. So if I'm showing an angle, come at it from the right side. Don't be cack-handed. And if I had the piece straight on in front of me, I wouldn't be able to get at this angle as easily as what I can now, just by flipping the board round. Also, it starts giving you more of a visual aid by switching the board around. You start seeing it, more shapes and more dimensions. Sometimes you'll spin the board a full 360 or like 290 degrees, so you can see more dimensions. All adds to the depth. So we're going to keep it short and sweet there. I just wanted to introduce myself as Pyrography for Beginners and Beyond by Flames Pyro, which is me, Flames Pyro Art. That's my pen name. And we can do some wood burning together. And I'll try and explain as best I can what I'm doing and what we're trying to create and show with our work. Okay, so I shall see you in a proper lesson where I've advertised that we are going to do a sitting together, and if any members from the groups would like to come along and sit with me and maybe ask some questions while I'm wood burning, they're more than welcome to. And we'll wood burn this soldier together. Okay, so thank you to anybody that's tuned in, and I look forward to doing lots and lots of live sessions together in this magical art form that we call pyrography. Okay, take care everybody out there, and I shall see you all again soon. Bye for now.